Crypto is finally here to hack the meta. Let's take a look at how best to use him and how to be as effective as possible with him. Thanks to EA Game Changers for making this special early access guide possible. Crypto is your pretty standard medium legend. No fortified buff like Gibraltar and no low profile debuff like Wraith. Regular health, movement speed, the whole 9 yards. Classed as a recon character, Crypto truly fills the role of information provider for the team, and his ultimate gives him an absurdly strong offensive tool. All 3 of his abilities, passive, tactical, and ultimate, are completely reliant upon his drone. Without the drone, Crypto may as well have no abilities at all. For starters, we've got his tactical ability, Surveillance Drone. When deploying your drone, you have a very long wind-up animation of Crypto logging in, leaving you vulnerable. You can, however, still move normally during this animation, so you can start it up before you plant up on your chosen piece of cover. So press the button, run around a little bit, and then you'll end up landing somewhere else once that animation is complete. Movement on the drone is pretty straightforward. Hold jump to go up, hold crouch to go down, forward to go forward in whatever direction you're aiming, etc. It works pretty much as you would expect. While piloting the drone, you can ping enemies, locations, or whatever you want as you normally would. If you're within 30 meters of an enemy and you have a clear visual on them, or also interact with objects like doors, the object or enemy will be highlighted in orange for you and your teammates to see. In short, Crypto gives your entire team wall hacks if you get the drone close to an enemy team. This is his passive ability, Neurolink. What's really cool is you actually provide this ability to yourself as well as the entire team. If you exit the drone without recalling it, it'll stay floating exactly where you left it, so you can theoretically run your drone around a corner to give yourself a visual on an enemy, park your drone there, and then, once you're back to controlling Crypto, quickly turn a corner and pre-fire that enemy with perfect accuracy because you have wall hacks on them. And if you don't, because they shoot the drone in the meantime, you know exactly where they're at, and you know that they're not looking at you, they're looking at that drone. So, either way, you have a pretty big advantage on enemies in this theoretical fight. It's a lot more complicated than that, but you get the basic idea here, I hope. It's important to note, though, that the drone has very little health, emits a bright light, and it makes a telltale sound when it's floating near an opponent. While powerful, you need to be very careful with drone placement, movement, and timing so you get good value out of it without it getting shot down. My best piece of advice with the drone is to not get too tunnel visioned on flying it around, looking for enemies or whatever. If you have an aggressive team, or just play with friends who like to move a lot and barely stand still, you're going to fall really far behind quite rapidly if you lose focus. On the flip side, if your 2 teammates are really good players and they can hold their own in a 2v3, giving them the buff of constant wall hacks can be incredibly difficult for enemies to deal with. Plus, when you bring Crypto's ultimate into the equation, that annoying drone becomes an instant fight winner in a lot of cases. Here's my reasoning why. In shooters and MOBAs, historically, mechanics that let your team dive on an enemy team tend to be incredibly powerful the first time they're introduced. Imagine a scenario where your shields have been shredded and you're being rushed down hard by a Wraith. Typically, that's already scary, but it's still a 1v1 and you can still either win or get away. Maybe you have enough time to get off a shield cell or something before she gets in to fight you. Whatever your case may be, it's a scary situation no matter what. However, it's still a 1v1 at the end of the day, and if you play it well, you can still win, or at least get away. Against Crypto, though, not so. The drone is scary fast, and the huge radius on your EMP ultimate will deal 50 shield damage, and either way, whether you have shield damage or not to do, it's going to slow enemies. It's going to arc them, like, an arc star would, or Watson's fence. It's frightening being rushed down by an aggressive opponent while simultaneously being guaranteed to be stunned by an arc star. It's not like you can dodge it like an arc star or a fence or whatever. This is like guaranteed to hit you and stun you, make it pretty impossible for you to fight back, and that is just instantly going to be a death for you in a lot of situations. Maybe the explanation here wasn't the best, but you guys get the idea, right? If you have a teammate pushing an opponent and your drone is next to them and you get that drone in first, you arc them, and your teammate has an easy wipe on that opponent. That is an easy instant kill. And if you hit an entire enemy team with that, oh my god, that is going to be a lot of damage and a lot of destruction coming off on that team that's receiving it. So Crypto can be very powerful with aggressive teams when you abuse the ultimate in the proper way. Now, all of this isn't even to mention the fact that the EMP destroys all placeable items like caustic traps or Watson fences. This alone has the potential to really shake up the esports metagame simply by existing. And the combination of a safe damage plus stun diving ultimate with this other added utility on top of it means that Crypto is probably going to be a top-of-the-line meta legend pick in high levels of play. Anyways, let's get back to overall best practices with the drone. There's a lot more subtleties to it which I haven't gone over yet, so let's start breaking all of that down one by one. For starters, your drone can open all doors and loot pills on the map. The pills are like those big, long, white and red loot box things. I just shudder to say loot box because that could be confused with an opponent's death box, which is not openable by the drone. You can also use this drone to block doors, just like a caustic trap or using your own body. If you're really quick on the draw, this can be a really fun way to reach around behind an enemy team to block an escape route, or maybe hold the door shut in front so they can't peek you through it and attack your team. Without going off the deep end, on the surprisingly deep and interesting minigame of door juggling and door blocking, I recommend you watch another video I've done linked in the description box to learn more about that. Now, the other hugely important part of the surveillance drone, which is not mentioned anywhere else in the character's ability page, is critical to informing how you should be placing your drone in space, how you should be positioning it and leaving it floating around or whatever. So, you know the trios of player banners that appear on walls and buildings pretty much all over the map? The ones that Crypto has been hacking in Kings Canyon throughout the lead up to Season 3? Well, if you hop in your drone and you just look at those panels, you'll notice that they don't display any enemy player banners. Instead, they show a very simple text-based indicator giving you a count of how many enemy squads are currently within your drone's range. It's like omniscient. It just knows that there's enemies within some meter distance. I don't know what that meter distance is, but it's actually really important to Crypto. So what you want to do is take the drone, park it in an area where you have these signs in your vision, then simply just leave the drone and check back in on it periodically. If that number ever says anything other than 0, it's go time. Another piece of advice is that you can recall your drone whenever you want while you're not piloting it. This is the same button as Gibraltar's shield toggle on and off. There's a very short recall period, and then the drone simply reappears in your inventory. In my opinion, this is really important when using the drone aggressively for quick peeks or tab keeping on enemy teams. You don't want to leave it parked longer than you have to versus woke enemies that are actively targeting it, so make sure you're recalling often if you know you're against a high skill team, or if you're just being really mobile or just trying to run away, because you don't want to leave that drone way behind you. If you lose that drone, it's got a 40-second cooldown before you get a new one. That doesn't feel super punishing overall, but I'd be remiss not to reiterate that if you've got no drone, you've got neither a passive nor an ultimate, so keep all of that in mind. Don't throw that drone away needlessly. All in all, I think that Crypto has potential to be a really tough legend to play optimally. It's definitely a challenge to keep things moving between your drone and Crypto himself, but at the high end, I think that it might eventually become difficult to justify not having Crypto on your team. The combination of offense and utility in this character is unreal. It's basically Bloodhound with a smaller hitbox and way more steps. Anyways everyone, that'll just about do it. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope that you learned something new. If you love this video, you know what to do. Get subscribed, follow on Twitch, or for a few days only, you can pick up the first ever Frothy branded t-shirt, which is pretty cool, so you can try that out as well if you are interested. But yeah, check out the link in the description box of this video for more details and all those links down below in the little doobly-doo section. Without anything else to say, guys, that's Crypto. I'll see you all again very soon. Take care.